Hey mom friends, this is Functional Medicine for Moms, where we look at motherhood through the lens of functional medicine. I'm your host, Kelly Moline, a pharmacist with advanced training in functional medicine. From pregnancy and postpartum to everyday parent life, we talk root causes, natural solutions, and real stories from our own family's journey, plus conversations with experts along the way.
5 o'clock on a Saturday. It's not Saturday. Okay. Testing. 1 2 1 2. Ready?
Yep.
Okay, kick it off.
Welcome to our... No, let me restart. Welcome back to our podcast, Functional Medicine for Moms. I'm Kelly Moline, functional medicine consultant, pharmacist, wife, and new mom.
And I'm Landon Moline, Kelly's husband and father of our little baby Danielle.
Yes, so today is more of that functional medicine type episode where we're diving a little bit deeper. And today we're talking about postpartum hair loss and postpartum hair regrowth, I guess. So I'm 8 months postpartum. I think a lot of new moms deal with this. When they hit that postpartum period, everything around in the world is changing, including losing a lot of their hair. So wanted to validate that and share our experiences and share a little bit of the science that goes beyond that.
Awesome. Yeah, when you said you wanted to do this type of episode or this topic, I was a little confused because I didn't think it was that big of a deal. So I was kind of surprised. Like, I don't know that a lot of people really deal with it. But you said that it's actually more common than I thought. So
yeah,
with that being said, jump on into it.
Yeah, and I didn't deal a lot with it.
That's probably why I didn't really notice it, because I feel like it didn't hit you that hard.
Yeah,
but maybe that's because of what you did.
Yeah, I tried to negate it as much as possible and reduce it. When I was pregnant, there was definitely a lot of videos that I saw on TikTok and Instagram on people sharing their stories, and they would show a lot of their hair loss in videos and with like their newborn baby. And it was kind of scary because as a woman, your hair is a big part of your femininity. What's that word? Yeah.
I feel like in general, I think, and a lot of barbers, I think if I've heard someone say this, at least that used to cut my hair, was that like good hair is a sign of good health.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but it's still, a postpartum woman can be healthy and still lose some hair, and that's normal, and I want to talk about that. But I think the amount of hair you lose can definitely differ. So yeah, I was very nervous about it because you have so much changing in that postpartum, and then I didn't want to lose all of my hair with it as well. It's scary.
Yeah, no, I could see that. I wouldn't want to be having bald spots or anything like that. Mm-hmm. I feel like I haven't, maybe people have hit it really well, but I think I also didn't know about it because I just haven't really noticed a lot of people with like bald spots in their hair, or if they did, I didn't think it was that big of a deal.
I'm sure a lot of people do try to hide it as much as possible because it's a sensitive topic. And then a lot of new moms are staying home more or
That's
something
true.
too.
Yeah.
So they could just be naturally hidden a little bit more.
Yeah.
But like I have a coworker who's a few months more like postpartum. She just had a 1-year-old, but I remember when she was around my time, so I'm 8 months postpartum now, and she had a lot of the hair regrowth, and people will also post videos about this of like, oh, how is your 8-month-old baby at home? And they're like, how can you tell? And it's just like a video of all of their hair standing up by like an inch or two, and because you're just like in that
you mean where their bangs are and stuff, or
it's like standing straight up. Because it'll stand straight up first because their hair is like short, and then over time it'll like go down. But yeah, and then like my coworker, she had more hair loss where you could like see that scalp, and then she had a lot of that hair regrowth where it was standing straight up, and then over time it like looked like she had bangs and so on and so on. So
yeah, I think as a guy, I think anytime I've seen, women with shorter hair, I thought maybe they just tried something different with their haircut. I generalized it versus.
Well, they can.
I mean, it can. Yeah, I mean, I've literally have friends that have shaved their head pretty much like a buzz cut as a woman even, and so that's kind of where I think my head's just rationalized. It's like, oh, they probably tried something different with like that their haircut this time, and then now they're just growing it back out. So
Yeah.
instead of thinking like, oh, it's because she had a kid 8 months ago. So
Yeah. I don't know anyone who was postpartum and decided to shave their head. Sure.
But yeah. No.
Yeah. To each their own. They're very brave. I
yeah.
don't know if I could do that at this moment, but I did chop my hair. The mom chop is very real because the few strands you feel like you have left, the baby just like holds on to them and rips them out of your head. So that's really fun.
Yep. Especially, I think, yeah, our baby is very much, I want to touch everything and like feel it out, figure it out, examine, so.
Yeah, that's normal. That's good.
Very
Until
curious.
she grabs your hair with the death grip.
Yeah, you got to be careful. I mean, my chest hairs aren't safe, so I'm sure your actual head hair is really an attraction to her.
Yeah, and I would go to my hairdresser. And so this last time I went to my hairdresser and I cut my hair, so I was asking her about my hair growth because she's seen it since like the new postpartum throughout my postpartum journey. And so I asked her like, is it better? Is it worse? Do you notice bald spots? Because maybe I'm just not noticing that. Do you notice thinning? What do you notice, like dryness? All of that. So she helped shed some light too. She said my hair honestly looked healthier than it did at the beginning, and so I wanted to
beginning of
like my postpartum
pregnancy or postpartum.
Yeah, my old hairdresser moved away, so I got a new hairdresser at the beginning of my postpartum. And so I wanted to kind of share that.
So she said your hair looked healthier at 8 months postpartum versus freshly postpartum. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I wanted to share because like freshly postpartum, it's very much still like your pregnancy hair. You know what I mean? Where your pregnancy hair is like thick and shiny and glowing and beautiful and long. So I wanted to go into why that is. And it's not just your prenatals, which I think a lot of people, like even at the pharmacy, people come in, they're like, what prenatals do you have? Because my hair was beautiful during pregnancy. So it had to have been this prenatal I was taking versus like what is actually going on behind pregnancy.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, I wanted to dive into all that and then what we can do about it. Because I was unsure there was even things to do. I thought it was just coming for me. And so I think that's the beauty of functional medicine in general, is that we're kind of given this narrative that this is what happens and there's nothing you can do about it. But functional medicine like dives a lot deeper into that, and we can provide some of that background so that you know that you do have some say into it, some control into it.
All right, let's go.
So in pregnancy, of course, we're taking that prenatal most of the time, and quality prenatals are really the best way. And there's different measures of quality for prenatal. So I definitely have my opinions on that, but that's not what this episode is about. And so pregnancy, your hormones are up. Right? So you have elevated estrogen and elevated progesterone, and that is normal in pregnancy. So estrogen is your hormone that makes things grow. Okay. So it's growing the baby inside of you, which is fantastic. And then you're going to notice like your fingernails are growing, your skin is glowing, you have like faster skin turnover. That's why you have that pregnancy glow. And then also your hair grows, and the hair itself has different cycles of life. So it'll have a cycle of growth and rest and shedding. So that's normal. And so we typically have like each cycle has its own lifespan. So each strand has its own timing of like when it's growing, when it's resting, and when it's shedding. So they're all over the place. And so they're not like a synced cycle. So it's not all happening at once. So you have some that are growing at certain times and some that are shedding. So it's just kind of all the same.
And that's kind of like the general, like, I mean, if you go in your shower and you see, okay, there's hair, or if you go and vacuum, like there's hair that it picks up, that's kind of the natural, like there's always going to be some shedding.
The baseline for like pre-pregnancy, women lose about 50 to 100 strands a day. So you may not notice if it's happening throughout the day, especially if you have your hair down, it's going to like naturally shed, and then it could shed like on your pillow or when you're brushing your hair or in the shower, especially. So if I forget to take my hair off the shower walls, you notice that. So like pre-pregnancy, that's normal, 50 to 100 strands per day. So during pregnancy, when we have all of this estrogen and all of this growth, our hair strands kind of simultaneously fall into this growth phase and don't go to the shedding phase. So we have more strands in that growth phase at the same time. And so that's why we notice like our hair is thicker, because you're losing less hair. And then yeah, we just have like that long, beautiful hair that's thick and shiny and beautiful because your hair is in this growth phase because of the increase of estrogen. But prenatals can help too, because it has more well-rounded nutrition. You may be focusing on that a little bit more during your pregnancy. So that is like the pre-pregnancy and then pregnancy. And then
okay, so pre-pregnancy and pregnancy, the estrogen that you're getting from the pregnancy and the prenatals are helping to grow more hair and also sustain more hair. You're not losing as much.
Yes.
And the estrogen is more the growing more hair.
Yes. So just to clarify, because you asked me about this earlier, like, do prenatals help your estrogen levels? Not necessarily. It's not like adding estrogen by taking prenatals. That's the pregnancy doing that. The prenatals help with more of the nutrition part, and like the iron and that kind of stuff as well.
So they're probably more helping with like the keeping your hair versus like they probably decrease the shedding versus like increasing the growth.
Yeah. There's a lot that goes into hair growth. And like you said, with your barber, of healthy hair could be a sign of like a healthy body. Mm-hmm. And so having that nutrition can add to the healthy body part.
Yeah, I feel like when you're pregnant, or even postpartum, you're probably being depleted of certain nutrients because the baby's feeding off those. Yeah. So it's more like making sure that your body sustains that normal level mm-hmm. of nutrition and, vitamins, whatever.
Yeah. So the pregnancy is helping grow more.
Got it.
So when we're thinking that, okay. And then when you give birth, we've heard that your hormones kind of fall off a cliff. They crash to a certain extent. And we've talked in previous episodes of like minimizing that crash so you don't feel as bad, but there's a lot of stuff you can do with that. But we know that your hormones are falling off a cliff, so your estrogen and your progesterone are going down. You may be breastfeeding, so your hormones definitely shift. And then at the same time, you're not sleeping as well. You have more added stress because you have this new baby to take care of, all of the things, right? So it's kind of this cascade of events that your hair does not do well with.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So during that postpartum time, the hair loss peaks around 3 to 4 months postpartum. And so that's when you'll notice like the majority of that hair loss. And so I more noticed it in like my temples. And I think that might have been when we started recording for our podcast as well. And so like those very early videos, even on my like crappy phone camera, I was looking at them like, wait, do I have some hair loss? Because I didn't really notice it until I was watching some of those videos. And now that I'm 8 months postpartum, I'm like seeing this like 1.5 inches of hair regrowth around that hairline. And so I'm like noticing it some, but not super extreme that other people may notice.
Yeah, so it probably just didn't hit you as hard as it does others.
Yeah, and so I wanted to share some of like those things that you could do to help minimize or prevent as much as possible. But I think that hair loss is very inevitable in some extent.
Gotcha.
So postpartum, you may lose up to 300 strands a day or
versus
even
like
more.
the 150 baseline.
Yeah, the 150 baseline. And then during pregnancy, the how many strands you lose is like far less because your hair is in that regrowth phase. So during pregnancy, you may be only losing 10 to 20 a day.
Wow.
So I noticed in the shower when I was pregnant that like I would maybe lose like 1 or 2 in the shower. I'm like, that's crazy. I mean, you've seen the shower if I forget to take the hair off the wall. So
it's a jungle in there, folks. No, just kidding.
and so that was like such a change. And then, so I'm like postpartum, I'm not comparing the postpartum versus normal. Like I just got done being pregnant where I was losing like so little. And so it felt like even a more drastic change because you're losing maybe like 10 a day and then you're losing 300 a day. It feels like all of your hair is falling out, especially in the shower or when you comb it. So that was a lot. But when you think of, okay, you're pregnant for 9 or 10 months, right? And your baseline is like losing 100 to 150 strands a day. And then for 9 or 10 months, you're losing 10 to 20 a day. So then afterwards, your hair is kind of like catching up a little bit, where now all of your hair, when it was in a simultaneous growth phase, now it's all together in a like shedding phase. So that's why you notice it even more too.
Got it. Okay. So what can you do then?
So focusing on the nutrition for sure. So hair is made up of protein, so you definitely want to make sure you're eating enough protein, especially if you're breastfeeding and other things as well. We want to have that protein on board. So if you're not eating enough protein, it's definitely going to show up in your hair. And then iron, zinc, make sure you have vitamin D, like all of those things are going to contribute to hair biotin for that hair. So make sure you're eating enough in that well-rounded whole foods type of diet. And then supplements, you can help with supplements. So a lot of people stop taking their prenatal after they give birth because they're like, well, I'm not pregnant anymore. Why would I take this prenatal? And so I think that's a really common misconception. And so you can continue that or take a postnatal. So my prenatal is both. And so I continue taking that afterwards. Again, having that well-rounded nutrition, especially in that postnatal time as well, super important. Again, your body's recovering, postpartum, breastfeeding, all of those things too. And so you can take prenatal, postnatal, you can take collagen as a supplement as well.
I was going to say, because collagen is usually like hair, skin, and nails. Doesn't it support those?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's very similar to like that protein. Collagen is like a protein source, and so it's going to help rebuild that hair. But also I have collagen for a lot of people with like arthritis and different like ligaments and tendons and stuff can be really helpful because you had arthritis in your shoulder, and so we were trying different things, and collagen really helped that. And quality of collagen definitely matters as well. And then adaptogens can be really helpful too, because with that added stress, with the maybe your eating is all over the place, your sleep is not as consistent, adaptogens can help manage your cortisol levels, and so they can help with that too. And then lifestyle. So scalp massage can help with circulation and blood flow to your hair follicles. And so funny enough, I know you didn't know this at the time, but for Mother's Day, you gifted me like a massage and a facial and a scalp massage. And so that was about 3 to 4 months postpartum when that would be like at its peak. And so that could have definitely helped my hair regrowth. So thank you for that, Landon.
You're welcome. I totally knew it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You
I had this
digging?
intuition. Yeah.
It's a good intuition. So yeah, that was, well, it felt great because you have a lot of stress at that time too. So it's just good to like de-stress, take a couple hours off, and then just get that circulation and blood flow
I'm glad I could help you.
Yeah. No, I really liked it. It was my first time getting like an actual scalp massage. Sometimes you will like massage my head, and so that always feels good.
You're saying that like mine at home were not as good as the ones that you pay for.
I don't say that. You can definitely continue massaging my scalp.
Ah, okay.
Yes. And then decreasing stress when we can, and then blood sugar balance. So again, making sure you have protein and or a fat with carbohydrates and eating consistently. All of that is going to help your overall health, nutrition, reduce inflammation, cortisol levels, and help your hair grow. Because before I was postpartum, had the baby, all of that, again, I have my own functional medicine practice and I was helping a lot of women. I started with more women like that perimenopause, menopausal time, because I think that's when a lot of women start reaching out for help and they're dealing with a lot of symptoms, and a lot of symptoms can even relate to hair thinning. I had a lot of women with hair thinning. And so we would dig into like what those root causes are with that. And so it can again have a lot to do with like the estrogen dropping and supporting the body, because when the body is dealing with all of these other things, whether that's like stressful situations, gut infections, it has all these like toxin buildup in the body. Like hair growth to the body isn't super important. So it's going to use its resources for the things that it does deem important, whether that's like fight or flight or whatever that looks like. And so you'll notice more hair loss, hair thinning when people are dealing with that. Like you've seen the cartoons where someone's stressed and like they like pull out their hair, right? Or they're just like losing their hair. So it's very similar to that. So you do need to make sure you have a healthy body, healthy mind, all of those things to have really good hair growth.
And you mentioned hair thinning. Is that different from hair loss, or is that like, because does the hair get thinner itself, like hair strands are thinner, or is thinning the same thing as like hair loss?
I mean more like hair loss.
Okay.
Like you have less hair, so
Gotcha.
it looks thinner in general.
I just want to make sure I knew what you were talking about.
Yeah. I think the strand itself, which I've asked my hairdresser, I'm like, how do I make my hair strands thicker? And I think a lot of it is genetic. And some of it can be, making sure you have the right nutrition, some hair supplements that may have like adaptogens, vitamins, minerals in that. But a lot of it can be genetic too.
Got it.
Yeah. And then also knowing it's temporary. So postpartum is such like a small time in your lifetime, and you're putting all of this effort into your sweet little baby, and knowing that that's really like our focus. And I know a lot of moms don't want to be in pictures and stuff because they don't feel put together. But I think it's a really sweet time. And I think even when we have some of that hair thinning, other people can relate to it, and you still want to like remember this time for what it is.
Yeah, I would say like control what you can control. I think your priority, I think, should be the baby. But with that being said, like you said, stress can also make the problem worse. And so if you're stressing about hair loss, you could actually have more hair loss. So like,
that's true.
Try not to stress about it, and give yourself a break. Everyone, I think, goes through it in some degree. It sounds like so. Yeah.
Yep. Us moms have to stick together.
It's temporary.
Yep. But if you feel like it's way more than it should be, you're having these bald spots, you can always get checked out more by your primary care doctor. You can reach out to me, my website, molinemethod.com. I do have free discovery calls as well, as a functional medicine consultant. But we can check like vitamin D, zinc, thyroid for sure. So digging deeper into, is there more going on besides just that postpartum period?
Got it.
Yeah. So that's what I have to say about hair loss. I do like that I cut my hair, because I was also nervous about that. I think a lot of people get nervous about cutting their hair, especially during the postpartum time, because they know it's going to be thinner. So I didn't want it to look thinner, like having even less hair, you know what I mean? So I wanted to make it sure it still looked like it had a lot to it. And so, yeah, I was nervous about that. I know that you liked my long hair, so I was like, oh well, because you always said like, oh, don't cut it, it looks so pretty.
Yeah, it does.
But
I like you with short hair too, though. It's fine.
Yeah, thanks. But I like it so much more. It's easier to manage, and then it's like not always in my baby's face, especially when
It's shorter.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I'm breastfeeding or whatever, like I can have it down a little bit more, where when it was longer, she would even like pull my ponytail and I would never have it down when it was longer. And yeah. And then during this like postpartum time, I'm not washing my hair as much because, like as a mom, you just don't wash your hair all the time and you have other things to focus on. So I'm not putting as much heat on my hair. I'm not doing it as much. I honestly do it more for like, not even really for work, honestly, at the pharmacy. I do it more for like the podcast because we're recording. Thank you to my 50 viewers out there. And then, and then I just like put it in a ponytail for work, honestly. Because when I'm getting ready for work, I'm like, okay, I could wash it and do my hair and spend the time, or I can spend an extra 30 minutes with my baby. So I always choose that right now.
Got it. Makes sense. Hair is really important to you. I get it. I mean, one of the very first things you said to me was snip, snip, because I actually had long hair when we met.
Yeah.
And so, and you were not a fan, I guess. So
it
didn't scare you away.
No.
I took very good care of it.
It was beautiful hair. But yeah, it was different.
I'm more geared out for like football because
yeah,
it's just easier with the helmet. I liked it with the helmet, but
yeah.
This is not about me though. We'll move on.
It can be. This is the Landon show, everyone.
We're not going to talk about my hair.
You do have beautiful hair.
Oh, thanks.
And I think Danielle's going to have more of your hair. It's turning into more your hair color. Like it started out pretty dark and then it's now getting lighter. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
okay.
It is getting lighter.
Okay, well, that wraps up the hair talk. So, Landon, do you have a dad joke to finish this out?
I do. I've got an easy one for you. Are you ready?
Okay. You think I can get it?
I never do. So. You might be able to. It actually has to do with hair.
Yeah?
Yeah. Why was the woman's hair so angry?
It was tied up.
No, because she was always teasing it. I felt like that fit really well.
That was like a weird sound. I'm like, haha.
It was like the awkward laugh. It was a forced laugh. You're like, that's not funny to me, but.
No, I don't know how to tease my hair. They always tease my hair for like, weddings or whatever that I'm in. And then I can never brush it out. So I get so frustrated. But yeah,
that is not part of the joke.
Okay. Well, I'm going more into it, Landon. We can talk about other things.
Do you understand? Because she's teasing it as in like.
Explain it more.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
I feel like
you can tell jokes are funny when you have to explain it, but you didn't. I really did get it.
Got it.
Thank you.
Welcome.
For all the listeners out there.
Anyway, thanks for listening today. If you have any other questions about hair loss that you'd like Kelly to answer or look into, send them on in to her email, Moline.
Kelly at MolineMethod.com.
Yes. Or comment on our Instagram.
Functional Medicine for Moms.
Or on our YouTube channel.
Functional Medicine for Moms.
There you go. But don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Yeah, and follow along, message us if you have other topics that you'd like us to cover, because we just like talking about it and like if it helps someone else out there.
Exactly. What better way to figure out what people want to listen to than by them sending us in topics to talk about?
Yep. Let's do this mom thing together. Okay.
Sure. All right. Well, bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Thanks so much for listening to my podcast, Functional Medicine for Moms. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe so you never miss one, leave a quick 5-star review, and share it with your mom friends who love it too. I'm Kelly with a background as a pharmacist and training in functional medicine. I help women move past fatigue, brain fog, gut issues, and hormone struggles so they can thrive in everyday life or prepare for a healthy pregnancy. Through lab testing, personalized supplements, and functional medicine coaching, I help you feel better, faster, naturally. Want to connect more? Head over to molinemethod.com or come hang out with me on Instagram and YouTube at Functional Medicine for Moms. On my site, you can order professional grade supplements at my discount or book a free discovery call if you'd like to see how we can work together on your health. This podcast is for educational purposes only and not medical advice. Always talk to your provider before making changes to your health plan. And remember, healthy moms raise healthy families. Catch you next time. New episodes released every Wednesday.